Heather, that's like the one advantage of being the last one is you get the biggest cheers to start with. Heather Kennedy is a 2-time author, a certified leadership and team performance coach dedicated to optimizing productivity in starters and teams. She is an artist, musician, foodie, outdoor enthusiast. I'm going to add Swiftie. But most of all, and above all, she's a fierce mama bear. Join me in welcoming Heather Jo Kennedy.
Almost every valuable leadership lesson I've learned has come from being part of a family. And I argue one of the best schools for leadership is parenthood. I remember this lazy summer afternoon. I was in the kitchen making dinner. Kids are home from school, so I could see my daughter Josie, 10 years old, sitting on the couch, reading a book, minding her own business. All was right with the world. Until her older brother, my son, comes down the stairs and sees the most mischief-tempting scene a 12-year-old boy can see. Little sister minding her own business. Good feeling gone. I then hear him yelling, "Heads up, Jose!" As, not before, but as he's pitching this giant yellow bouncy ball right at her face. Her book falls to the floor. She begins shrieking, and she's not screaming at him. She's screaming at me. She skips the culprit completely and goes straight to the CEO, as if I authorized the attack. Are we seeing any leadership parallels yet? Here's one you may have missed. Those we lead come into our lives so that we have someone to teach and train and mold, sure. But so often those roles get reversed and they teach us. In this case, I was learning patience and restraint. I did not have the energy to intervene, so I de-escalated as best I could. I sent her upstairs to her room where they could be separated and all was well. Until I heard again that ever-loving bouncy ball, the shrieking, and then what really set me off? His triumphant cackling. I found the energy. I marched up those stairs, hell-bent on establishing peace by force. And when I found him in her room, gloating, I grabbed him by the arm. With his back towards me, I grabbed his other arm, crossed his arms behind his back, and pinned him to my chest. Now, we're a playful family like this, so he's giggling and squirming. He is not going anywhere, because I look over at Josie, who's curled up in the back corner of her bed, knees hugged to her chest, face red with frustration, and these are the words that came out of my mouth. "Josie, I've got him. Do whatever you want, I'll hold him." Not my proudest moment, judge me if you will. There was no shrieking and no cackling. She sat there dumbfounded, obviously questioning whether she'd heard me correctly. I assured her she had. And I could feel him squirming and then go still as he began processing the possibilities. Now she's still seeking clarity. And she begins to move towards the end of her bed, eyes on me. Anything I want? Anything? She's beginning to process the possibilities. Anything? Anything you want. And you're not going to stop me? Do I look like I'm going to stop you? Now, I'm beginning to consider the possibilities. And I'll admit, for just a minute there, I got a little bit nervous, but I can't show weakness now. And besides, more importantly, I knew my Josie. She's to the end of her bed, standing up, squaring up, eyes on him as she begins this approach. They're having kind of a silent conversation, I think, and she stops about an arm's distance away, looks back up at me one last time. Anything I want. It's more of a statement now than a question. Anything you want. With all the confidence in the world. She took that last step, closing the gap between us, reached her arms out wide and wrapped him in a hug. I let go, and he hesitated only a moment before hugging her back. I was there to teach a lesson, but who was the teacher? Those we lead come into our lives so that we have someone to teach and train and mold, yes. But so often, those roles reverse. And if we know them, and if we let them, they'll teach us. Thank you.